Welcome to Crosstown Cardboard episode 55 with myself, Carmine at Carmine's Cards, the sports reporter down here in Greenville, South Carolina, and Craig at New York City Sports Cards, the math teacher and soccer coach in the great city of New York. And for episode 55, we're calling it Sports Card Shark Tank because Craig has been trying to get this idea rolling for a little while now, which is that we pitch new sports card or just trading card ideas to each other and see if we give it the thumbs up approval, or for episode 55, the Dikembe Mutombo finger wag denying the other person, saying no, 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 because of course he was one of the greatest number 55s to ever live and an outstanding shot blocker. So Craig, I didn't do a great job of explaining that. Can you talk about the inspiration behind this idea and why you felt it's important for us to try to come up with, by the way, it was very difficult, try to come up with new card ideas that somebody might like.
All right. So as you know, I've been trying to get you to do this episode for the longest time. And in a perfect world, the setup would be you and I are pitching these ideas to another hobby participant. Just like the way
We could be directly to Michael Rubin.
pretty much just like the way Shark Tank works in the real show. But it's Sunday morning. Let's just have a conversation and we'll pitch the ideas to one another. But the reason I wanted to do this is personally, I'm sure I'm not the only one who feels this way. I just don't love modern products. I feel as if there are very few cards that are being produced nowadays that, to me, this is my own opinion, that are cards I would want to keep and collect and get a thrill out of pulling from a pack. So these are ideas of types of cards, insert sets, products that I just came up with in my own brain that I think would be super cool. That, let's just say, Fanatics or Panini, whoever's listening, these are just ideas that have not been made before. So maybe some of the listeners will like these ideas. Maybe you'll think they're silly. Maybe they'll spark listeners to come up with their own ideas. And as I said to you before, earlier in the week, there might be a little bit of a playful, joking tone to this, but I am fully sincere when I say that I think these are great ideas for products and cards that should be produced. And we'll see if you agree.
Yeah, no, I am happy that you wanted to suggest this idea and stayed on me about trying to come up with this stuff, because if anybody out there listening and watching is trying to come up with an idea for a new card or a new set of cards or a new brand of cards, just try to, I mean, maybe you're more easily, creative than me, but this was really difficult. I've been thinking about this in the shower leading up to this, before going to bed, and having a lot of trouble coming up with something that is decent and makes sense and might be doable. So, yeah, we'll definitely get into our sports card Shark Tank. And then after that, Craig and I, we both have updates of card moves that we made. And it was my first move that I've made since the National. So remember a few episodes we were talking about relax or re-up. And I had been relaxing for a while, but I finally re-upped and got a new card. So I'm excited to share that after our sports card Shark Tank, because I'm jumping back into the fire. But before we do that, we just want to remind everybody to subscribe, like, rate, review, and give a thumbs up to anywhere you catch the Crosstown Cardboard podcast, whether that be on a podcast platform or YouTube. And we really appreciate all the about 400 or so people who watch and listen. That's our combined number. So we really appreciate everybody tuning in every week. So Craig, why don't you get us started with your first idea on the sports card Shark Tank?
Oh, okay, let's do it. So we've got 4 ideas each, and this first one, this is my brainchild. I've had this in my head for the longest time. So
Okay.
this would be an insert set that you would pull from a pack. Now I'm thinking back when I collected, back when packs were 18, 20 packs per box. There were 2 or 3 hits per box, right? So this insert set is called In the Huddle.
Okay.
And it features a team, whatever sport, literally in the huddle. Coach is drawing up a play, coach is calling a timeout, and featured in the card is a piece of equipment that the coach would use. For example, like a clipboard. And
Okay.
if that coach used a piece of expo to draw up a plan, a clipboard, I would love to see a piece of that clipboard cut out on the card with the expo marker still on there. And the kind of vibe I got from it was you recently posted the Larry Bird Magic Johnson dual autograph on a piece of hardwood, right?
Yeah.
So something like that, where a big piece of a clipboard or whatever else a coach might use, put right into the card. And the photo on the card would be the team with the coach in the huddle or during a timeout. You can get some really cool memorabilia pieces. So imagine a coach again uses an expo marker, right?
Hmm.
Now
Hmm.
imagine the piece of that marker with the word expo, and that was put right onto the card, or a big chunk of like the clipboard that they use. So these are coach or team used memorabilia cards put into the card, and the card set is called In the Huddle. It could work for any sport. And personally, I think it would be super cool. Like if I were a Knicks fan, for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
a picture on the card of Tom Thibodeau leading a timeout, showing him drawing up a play or something, and featured on the card as a piece of a memorabilia that that coach used. And on the back of the card, it tells us exactly which game that piece of memorabilia is from. In the Huddle.
I like that. I like that a lot, and I give it the thumbs up for sure. I like the uniqueness. I feel like Mark Cuban. I'll give you my pros. First of all, I want 30% for only $100,000. No, just kidding.
Nice.
So I approve of that. I think it's cool. It brings you close to the game and is something that I haven't seen before. That would be kind of cool out of the box. I like that.
In the Huddle. That's the name of it. Copyright that.
In the huddle. Okay. All right. I got one for you. This might not ever realistically happen because it's not a great look on the people who participated in these events. But I've always been a big fan of the signature move sets or timeless moments. And it shows like I've had a card with Aaron Rodgers doing the discount double check touchdown celebration as a signature move, or Justin Jefferson hitting the gritty. And those kind of cards bring me to that moment. They bring me to that celebration that I really like, or they take you to, oh, remember when, or remember how this guy used to, and those kind of things, which I think all of us really love about sports cards. So I thought about a kind of a little bit different vibe to a set. Instead of timeless moments, I'm going to go malicious moments. And so, for example, this would be obviously moments in sports that were malicious. They were kind of ugly, like the bad boy Pistons and stuff like that. So I thought this could be a multiple auto set with the people involved. For example, the Malice at the Palace. I want Ron Artest at the time, pre-Meta World Peace, and Ben Wallace dual autograph on the Malicious Moments Malice at the Palace, or a dual auto between Spike Lee and Reggie Miller with the choke sign at the Garden, dual auto between those two guys, or Holyfield and Tyson Malicious Moments when he bit his ear off, Tyson biting Holyfield's ear. Or it could be a single person if you're electric enough to be malicious by yourself. Bobby Knight with a photo of him throwing the chair across the court at Indiana auto. So that's my idea. Malicious moments.
I give it a thumbs up. It sounds to me like that's a PG-13 product.
Could be.
I like it. So some more controversial is the wrong word, but infamous, notable moments in sports
Yes,
history.
infamous would be maybe another thing you could use, and then on the back you could kind of describe, when that took place. If it's a single event, which it should be like a single malicious moment in time. On the back, you have a description of what happened, when it happened, and why these two guys are included, in this moment.
I give it a thumbs up on the idea.
Okay.
I give it a Dikembe Mutombo no on a card company producing that.
Oh yeah. I know. I was coming up with it, and I'm like, this would probably never happen. For example, like how which I found it at the National. I guess Dr. J and I don't know if Larry Bird. I think Larry Bird and Dr. J. Neither one of them will sign stuff of when they got into a fight. Remember when? Have you ever seen that photo of Dr. J choking Larry Bird right by the neck, and
Right.
then Bird like they're getting into a fight, and I guess neither one of them will sign stuff like that. From what I've heard, you have to fact check me on that, but so the branding piece, yeah, I get that it would be a negative look for whatever sports organization was involved or people involved in the malicious moment, but kind of a pipe dream there.
I like it though. So we've got in the huddle, we've got malicious moments. My second idea, because we live in this world of parallels, like it or not, there are all these different numbered parallel cards. There, fast break, mosaic, blue. There's bronze bubbles out of 175. And then there's your traditional ones, your red parallels, your blue refractors, the ones we know. And I think what a lot of collectors want is tradition and continuity.
Yeah.
But as far as a new idea for a parallel, something I love nature and I love a nice, colorful cotton candy sky sunset. So I would love to see whether this is in Topps Chrome or Prism, a sunset parallel that
Okay.
has just a beautiful aesthetic to the back of the card. And because we get one sunset every day, there's 24 hours in a day, the sunset parallel would be numbered out of 24. So it would be a tough pull, it would be rare, and I think it would look incredible. So think whatever base card, and then you got your different colored parallels, a sunset parallel. I just think it would look really, really nice. And the photo opportunities to get a sunset parallel and take a picture of it with the actual sunset in the background. I mean, my artistic brain is just exploding thinking about that. So a
Okay.
sunset parallel numbered out of 24.
Okay. I like the connection between the hours in the day and the serial number. I always like when those things make sense. If I have to figure out why it's serial numbered the way it is, or it's just random, I like the bronze bubbles situation. I'm not as in on that, but I do like the 24 hours in the day. Now let me ask you this. To further that sunset theme, can we make that card in the year the player retires, or because they're walking off into the sunset, or would that not provide enough opportunities? Because like every year, you know, I mean, if you want to mass produce that insert set, it's going to be very limiting, of course, to have only guys. I guess you could do guys who are retired, not just have retired that year. Does it need to be a current player? Because I feel like to advance the sunset theme, that could be something where because they're retired, this
I
is
get
this
what you're
is like a
saying.
retiree set because they're walking off into the sunset of their
Right.
career.
I really wasn't thinking that much into it because it's not an insert set, it's a parallel. So you got
Oh,
your
okay.
base, you got your base, you got
Oh, I got you.
your refractor, you got your purple refractor, your blue refractor, your
Okay.
gold, your
Okay.
tie-dye, your sunset.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
That's
Sunset
cool.
parallel. I
Okay,
love
so that could
sunset.
be that could be for anything. That could be for any set, any sport.
Right. It's because
Just
it's not an insert, whereas in the huddle was an insert set. This is
Mhm.
a new unique parallel. Instead of all
Okay.
these random bubbles and mosaics and that are of random
Okay.
numbering, sunset, it looks beautiful. It's out of 24 and it's rare.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Now I get the idea fully. So and I find that interesting because I'll hold up the Joe Burrow select tie-dye rookie that I have. It's a premier level select. It's a PSA 8. And the reason I'm holding this up is because I think me and you are both pretty big fans of the tie-dye, numbered out of 25, and partially because it's so unique compared to the other insert, or I'm sorry, the other parallels. So that sunset would kind of fall into a similar lane of being unique compared to the other parallels and separating itself, and only one number more rare than the tie-dye. So I think now that I understand, I'm thumbs up. And we can
Cool.
eliminate the ones that we can eliminate one of the other parallels if we need to when we go to Panini and Fanatics, with these ideas.
Yes. All
All
right.
right, so number 2 for me. This one's a little bit out of the box. Well, I guess I mean, they haven't been created yet, so if they were in the box, we wouldn't be presenting these ideas. This one's called the soundtrack of sports. And it would be a card where you get the photo of whatever sound that you're having featured on the card. So you get a photo of whatever's taking place, and then you get a QR code that you would scan, and then you'd be able to quickly pull up the audio of that soundtrack of sports on your phone. So, for example, Cameron Indoor Stadium, and you pull the Cameron Indoor Stadium card, you scan the QR code, and I'm talking very quickly. Like this has to be almost like a GIF format, like how that comes up instantly with very little service. I want it to be somehow wired in that, this soundtrack pops up really quick, like 30 seconds of whatever sound this is. So you get the Cameron Indoor Stadium card, scan the QR code, you then you're hearing Cameron Indoor Stadium and the kids jumping up and down, or the Florida State Tomahawk Chop, oh. So you pull that card, or Madison Square Garden in the fourth quarter, stuff like that. And it could be a specific moment if you wanted to make it more like just specific to whatever exactly happened at an occasion, like RJ Barrett game winner over the Celtics when he banked it in. That you could do something like that if you want to get more specific and say, Madison Square Garden, RJ Barrett game winner, and have the audio of when he hit that shot and just hearing the garden erupt. So I thought that might be kind of cool. Soundtrack of sports as a interactive audio. I'd imagine kids would like that too. And of course, you can look that up. Like, I mean, if you wanted to hear the RJ Barrett game winner, let's say on YouTube, but it's kind of cool to have a physical card, and then you could just scan it, immediately get right to the 30 seconds of just crazy crowd noise involved in that. Or, like I said, chants, cheers. You could even have an insert set that has the fight song of each college football games, and do like Clemson fight song, and you scan it and it brings that up. So that could be a set that you got a little more specific with the soundtrack of sports.
Very cool. So I pull a card, I scan the barcode, and it brings me right to the audio of RJ banking that. I could picture that so perfectly too. So I'm glad
Yeah.
you brought that up. So question is, if I pull that and you pull that, do we have the same QR codes? Or is every soundtrack of sports going to be unique?
I think, well, that could be interesting if it's like a one of one situation. Maybe you could do like one of ones, that are just that one, and then you could have, if we incorporate the sunset parallel, you could have a card that has 24 different, slightly different QR codes that bring you to the same audio. So you might be able to do something like that.
So these companies pledge to bring fans closer to the game, and for that reason, I give you a thumbs up.
Yes. And also, listen, with Fanatics taking over, they have the actual partnerships with the leagues. So maybe they could get the actual call of that game. Like, you could have an announcer insert set, Mike Breen bang,
You love it, yeah.
and you have like 30 seconds of Mike Breen's best bang calls. You might even have the double bang when Curry hit that shot from way out against the Oklahoma City Thunder in the playoffs, and you got the rare double bang from Mike Breen. So that could be kind of cool because of that partnership. That might be possible with the licensing. I'm not sure.
I approve. That's good.
Let's go.
All right, my third one. This would be a rare pull from a pack. Now, I love dual autographs, dual patch autographs from like the SP Game Used mid 2000s days. So this card, unfortunately, would be a redemption card, but for good reason. You could either make it autographed or jersey cards or autographed jersey cards, and you could pull this card in the form of dual, triple, or quad, and it is a custom card, meaning I pull this card, and let's say I pull a custom triple auto. It's a redemption. I go online and I get to choose any three players provided a list from whatever company it is, and I get to make my own triple autograph. So if I want to make it completely
Oh,
random,
I like
let's say
that.
I want a triple autograph with, I'm just going to random here, Mikal Bridges, Charlie Villanueva, and Larry Johnson. If I want a triple autograph of that card, as long as those players are included, I have that option.
Okay.
And obviously, it might be a first come first serve. Maybe there's very limited Steph Curry autographs, Kevin Durant autographs, and let's say you pull a dual jersey card or a dual autograph card, the company will then make that card for you. So the card hasn't been made yet, but you pull the redemption and it's custom. So let's say I pull a custom triple patch autograph and I look online and let's say Julius Randle is included on the list of autographs and patches, as
Okay.
is Jalen Brunson, as is RJ Barrett. I could choose to go for the Knicks custom triple. Or maybe I'm going for something more valuable. Steph Curry is on it. There's Kevin Durant. There's Jokic. And I just want to get 3 of the best players. But the idea is you pull this redemption. The original idea was a custom dual autograph, and you choose whatever 2 players you want on that autographed card. It wouldn't be numbered because you don't know how many of each card will be made because there's
Yeah.
tons and tons and tons of combinations if you do the math. But that's
Yeah.
my idea. Make your do it yourself custom dual triple autographs. It would be a redemption. It would be a very tough pull, and then the company makes the card for you.
I like that a lot. The only thing I'm concerned about is a couple logistical things. But
Talk to me.
one I think I have worked out because let's say if I have a list, if Charlie Villanueva's on that list, you can bet he's not going to be chosen very often. Now, let me
Right.
get this straight. Charlie Villanueva, very nice player with UConn. And then, I'm pretty sure I'm almost positive he won a national title there. Great scorer, went to the Pistons. He had an okay NBA career. But if Charlie Villanueva is on that list, you can bet he's not going to be asked to be included in very many autographs unless you get a UConn guy or something like that. So you could have a quota, like you said, first come, first serve. Let's say only 100 autographs can be signed by each player in that list. And then once that quota is hit for Steph Curry or somebody like that, then you can't choose him anymore. And
Right.
then you might have to go down the list. So does that sound like a realistic limit
Exactly.
to put on there?
That's what I was going for. So the
Okay.
first few people, let's say Kobe's on there, the first few people who pull this, Kobe might not be like Kobe will be gone pretty soon. That's the idea.
Okay, so let me ask you this. This sounds like it would have to be my only concern with this, a sticker auto set because of the difficulty of
Right.
getting all 3 of these guys. I'm sure you thought about that.
It
Are
is.
you
It is.
okay to execute your idea? Are you okay to make this a sticker auto set?
Yes, should have mentioned it. It would be sticker. The memorabilia version of it would be game worn. So same idea. There's a quota of how many Charlie Villanueva swatches you can include. And when that number runs out, he's no longer an option.
Okay. I like the idea. I'll give it kind of what you said before, the thumbs up on the idea and the Dikembe for episode 55 finger wag on the possibility because of how I don't know, it just seems difficult to execute with those logistical concerns. But I love the do it yourself aspect of it that you can pick.
Choose your own adventure.
Yes, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. I think we can harness that. And that's an important quality to have for card creators for sure. Just harnessing those little elements and then fitting the element that makes it special into a branded segment. Like for example, quick aside, when I used to work at ESPN, when we would be behind the scenes and we could get meetings with any producer. So like I met with the producer of the Scott Van Pelt show, I met with the producer of the LA Sports Center and each Sports Center show, and you can just pitch your ideas that you have for brand and segments. And the most important thing is like just noticing a group of entertaining things that could fit together and then packaging it or branding it into like you're in the huddle, branding it into something that makes it even cooler and presents it in a cool package to the audience, like mic'd up, when you have the game broadcast and then you get, inside the audio and you hear from the players. So I did one that was Get Off Me, and it was just a segment of broken tackles. But if you're on ESPN, you're not just going to say, "Here's a bunch of broken tackles in a row. Enjoy." You're going to be like, you have to brand it, you know. So like it has to be packaged in a cool way. And so Get Off Me was a segment that I presented on Sports Center in the morning that actually ran, and I would find, plays where if you were watching on TV, you would say "Get off me" when the guy's running, he busts through somebody.
You
Leonard
pitched the
Fournette.
idea,
Yeah. I pitched it. It
and they
ran.
ran with it.
It worked. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but it
nice.
was cool. But it was cool because at a the worldwide leader, somebody who was in a position like I was, a production assistant, real low on the totem pole, they ideas can come from anywhere is kind of their theory. So it's pretty cool. It's kind of like a Shark Tank, but not for sports cards, but for sports ideas. So I had fun presenting stuff like that. But all that to say, just because of the branding of, like the soundtrack of sports, malicious moments, I think that's something that needs to be emphasized. Is what package are you putting this in, and then going with that. So speaking of that, I got my third idea here, and it's in the sports broadcaster lane. Again, kind of like the soundtrack of sports with the audio and the Mike Breen bang calls and stuff like that. Or Mark Jackson saying he's a bad man. Which, by the way, Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy leaving ESPN and not being able to team up with Mike Breen, that is some of the saddest sports news I've gotten in a long time. But this one's going to be a different sports announcer, and the name of the card set is Sager Swag. Craig Sager, the late great TNT interviewer for the NBA. And if you remember, if you're a big hoops fan, you'll know that Craig, I mean, first of all, great name, but also never wore a suit twice in the same season, or very rarely. That was one of his things. Crazy outfits, pink on pink. He would go, wild with the colors. And I loved that expression, especially for somebody who's talking to guys who were so cool. Like he could easily be in the background, but he chose to express himself and just, clearly that's who he was, and he was committed to it and came out with the crazy outfits, the shoes, the colors, the designs, the patterns. So I thought Sager Swag could be just photos of Craig Sager in his outfits and, showing him interviewing whoever it was at that time. And then on the back, a description of when this interview was, who he's talking to, what game happened at this time, the date and year that this game happened, and when he wore that. And if his family or his estate still has those outfits, you can include a piece of the outfit if they'd be willing
Ooh,
to have that done, and obviously they would get paid for it because they're using the name, image, and likeness of Craig Sager and his outfits as well, which were not cheap if you look at, what he
right.
was wearing back then. So one of the coolest ones would be when he wore his outfit, and I don't know if you've seen the interview with Kevin Garnett
I have. He was ripping
with
on him.
Craig
Yep.
Sager, when he tells him to burn it. He's like, and Craig is like, "Can I at least save a little bit?" He's like, "No, everything, burn this whole thing." And just that, that camaraderie that was created between him and the NBA players, not only from him interviewing them, but also from them seeing, okay, this guy has some style. He's not afraid to express himself, be out there. And I think a lot of them respected that. So Sager Swag is my next idea.
I like it. I think cards, and there was one set. I think it was Panini Noir that covered fashion. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that side of the sport. So
Yeah,
I
I do like they have like the guys in the outfits walking into the arena like in the tunnel. I did like that. I did like that.
right.
That
So
set.
same idea with that, and like the sneaker spotlight, which we're both fans of.
Yes.
So the fashion side of it, and then Craig
Yes.
Sager being an icon, rest in peace. Um,
Yes.
he represented Craig's incredibly well. So I approve of that set.
And I'll never forget when I saw Craig Sager when I was also at ESPN on the ESPY's red carpet, and he was in bad health at that time. And me being a sports reporter and a sports broadcaster wanting to reach, a level like that one day. I remember catching his eye on the ESPY's red carpet, and everybody knew. I think he was getting an award that year for like Sager strong, and everybody was rallying behind him with those cool T-shirts that everybody was wearing. And I remember catching his eye on the ESPYS red carpet, and I looked at him for a second, and I just remember him giving me a smile and a wink, and I thought that was the coolest thing because this guy's health is deteriorating, like, he was in really tough shape, but he still wanted to make that moment special for me, seeing that I was a young kid on the ESPYs red carpet and clearly knowing who he was, and then he just gave me a wink, and, I never forgot that. I thought that was cool that he was still taking the time to make somebody else's day special, even though his day was, really tough for him at the time.
That's a great story. Sager always kept it consistent through the years.
Yep.
Speaking of through the years,
Oh, shoot.
here's my my fourth and final idea, and this is a product. This is something that I would walk into the store and buy a box.
Okay.
The product is called Through the Decades.
Okay.
So Fanatics through the decades, Tops through the decades, Panini through the decades, whatever it is. This would be a team specific product. So you're
Okay.
getting Through the Decades Knicks edition, Through the Decades Columbus Blue Jackets edition, something like that.
Okay.
It would be 6 packs per box, 5 cards per pack. So I'm hoping 6 packs, 5 cards per pack. The price point is reasonable. And this is obviously a collector's product because it is team specific. You would get a Clemson Through the Decades. And in those 6 packs, you get one autograph or memorabilia card per box. So one of those 6 packs is going to have an autograph or memorabilia. But not a single card in the product features a single player. Every card has a minimum of 2 players on it. The thing with
Okay.
it is it's not random players put together. Every card is purposeful. So maybe there'll be a triple card with the Knicks, and it would be Patrick Ewing. Who was the best player in the Knicks in the 2000s? Slim Pickings.
Spreewell, Houston. You like
Pick
those
one.
guys?
Pick one, and then Melo. So what do those three have in
Oh,
common?
okay.
They were arguably the best player in their decade.
Okay.
Maybe there's a quad card with Raymond Felton, Walt Frazier, Jalen Brunson, and pick another point guard. So what's the theme there, right? They're all point guards. You could
Yeah.
have a dual card of Carmelo and J.R. Smith. They played on the same teams together. So every card, all 30 cards, are combinations of your players, dual, triples, quads, and then
Okay.
one per box, you get an autograph or memorabilia card. So let's just, for example, Willis Reed, rest in peace, a dual autograph, Walt Frazier, Willis Reed. Obviously, they played on the championship teams together.
Okay.
And then there's parallels within the product, numbered cards. I don't know if it's a hollow foil set or not, but I think it would be a really fun product to open because now you're connecting your team's history with the present, and then the chase is the autograph or the one memorabilia card per box. Obviously, there could be a lot of low end cards. So let's just say right now, like a Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle dual game worn jersey card might not be the most valuable, but for me, that would be a super cool card to own. But then
Okay.
you can come up with something like a quad autograph. You got Walt Frazier, you got Willis Reed, you got Dave DeBuscher, you got Kazi Russell. Somehow, if you can
Mhm.
make that happen, yeah. So that's my product. Through the
I
decades,
like that. I like
through the
that.
decades, team specific, 6 packs per box, 5 cards per pack, one autograph or memorabilia per box, and not a single card is a single player. It's all purposely constructed combinations.
I like that, and I think that if you presented that to somebody else in the Shark Tank, they would also like that because you have whenever I would present those ideas at ESPN, they'd be like, "Okay, that's a great idea. How do we make that happen? What does that actually look like when it appears on TV?" Because you can have an idea and then the execution is like blank. How do you make that happen? But you
Well, you
presented the no, no, but you presented the execution, which is what I'm saying I liked about that. How many packs? How many cards per pack? How many hits in a box? So that's important to like take the idea actually across the finish line. And then I like that through the decades. And what I pulled out from what you said is the team history. Like if I was going after that set, or if I was buying that box, I would want to get like 70s, 80s, 90s of whatever team or something like that, where in a way it creates a Mount Rushmore of the greatest players. Or you could have a lower end set, like if you're doing the Lakers, let's say, you might have Gail Goodrich, and you might have Eddie Jones, and you might have Nick Van Exel on a triple auto or something like that. So it doesn't have to be like all the best players only on that through the decades. It could be like, guys who were good but not, insanely great. So it could be a chase to where you're like, if we get the Knicks, maybe we get Anthony Mason, rest in peace, or let's say Charles Oakley or John Starks and
'90s.
Danilo Gallinari or somebody like that.
Well, that wouldn't fit because what's the connection between Gallinari and those guys? The first three you mentioned were all '90s Knicks, so that would be the
Yeah.
theme of that card, a '90s
Right.
card. If you want to do Gallinari with Charles Oakley, it's a stretch, but what do they have in common? They're Knicks forwards.
Yeah.
So every card has a theme. It would
Right.
be
Right.
the perfect product to sell in stadiums.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great idea. And you have a marketing idea for it too.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because the other three ideas I already had. This one I came up with yesterday. This might be my best.
It might be. And what I like about that is, you have a million beer vendors all around, like at these stadiums, at these arenas. Why not have a little vending area? And I'm not talking a vending machine, but like, when you're in the mall, you see like whatever jeweler or watch sale or trinkets or, like a lids little pop up store for the hats. But you have
Yes.
that for sports cards in each arena, in each stadium, to where you're corralling the sports card market right there. Of course, almost every single person at a game is going to be a sports fan or dragged there to watch the game by a sports fan, whether that be a husband, a wife, a dad, a mom. And right there, you have a souvenir to take home and have packs of cards or boxes of cards. I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer that should, and maybe it's been happening in other stadiums and arenas, and I don't know about it, but that seems like it should be a staple of a sporting event, is having a sports card little area where you can purchase and, go home with a souvenir that's not like a souvenir cup that you're only going to look at when it's in your cupboard.
No, you best believe Fanatics is already coming up with ways to get this into every stadium.
Okay, I hope so.
Give me
I
your
hope so.
last idea.
Last idea is, because you were mentioning that these days there's not that many products, whether it's the Sunset Parallel, whether it's an insert set, or how, memorabilia cards are becoming not really memorabilia cards because a lot of them have not affiliated material and they're not game used anymore. So I was thinking, what could make somebody want to go back into buying cards, and purchasing? I mean, people love ripping. Let's get that straight. I mean, just because we might not be drawn to open new packs, people love opening boxes and packs and taking their chances and pulling that lottery ticket. But I was thinking with Fanatics partnership, or actually just acquiring Tops, and I'd imagine that's not the last acquisition they're going to make. They've made a bunch of them already. I think they're going to have a lot of rights to do things with cards that we haven't seen before because of basically the monopoly they're going to have on all these different card companies, and be able to kind of combine forces into one and make those separate parts, or make the sum of those parts greater than the separate parts. So I was thinking, in the Tops realm, why can't we insert these in-person rookie autos that are of legends, like let's say the Joe Montana Tops rookie? Why can't Fanatics, now that they own Tops, insert the in-person autograph signed by Joe Montana rookie card from that year into their packs and have it be pulled? Of course, they're going to go through the authentication process and, get it like approved that it was signed by Joe Montana. And instead of like putting it in a PSA slab that would have you get it authentic, they put it in a pack and verify its authenticity. But it's still the original card from that year autographed by Joe Montana inserted into that pack that's like, 2024 Topps football if they come out with that again. And, you know, now you have a Joe Montana in person rookie auto. I just think that'd be a cool way because they'd also be catching this surge behind the in person rookie autos of guys who played and were legends and their cards were produced and the rookie cards came out well before these pack pulled company issued autographs even came out. So I just think
I
that
just
would be
think
a
that would
cool
be
way to incorporate the trend that has been surging up of these in-person autos, which used to be taboo, which used to be like you're ruining the card. And now it's much cooler because people realize, well, Dr. J, he only has that one rookie card on the Squires back in the day. And now I have the only Dr. J rookie auto, even though it's in person. But now with Fanatics having all that pull and these companies that they own and the partnerships with the leagues, I'm pretty sure they would be able to pull that off.
So you want to see more buybacks, which it's not a unique concept. So
Right.
you used to be able to pull, for example, in like the Fleer retro sets, early 2010s, you could get pull. Oh no, shoot, I'm drawing a blank now. There
But
was
this
old
wouldn't be a buyback. This would be the card, the rookie card originally
right,
that was signed in person and now it's being inserted into a pack so you can pull it.
but there were packs. I want to say Upper Deck. I don't think it was Fleer retro. It was an
I've
Upper
I've
Deck.
seen some of them with the sticker on the back that, is
No,
kind of
where you could actually get like Michael Jordan's original Jambalaya card autographed, but pulled
oh
it
wow.
10 years later.
Okay. Okay.
So, but we don't see that as much anymore at
Yeah.
all, if anything. So you're talking about older cards, like rookie
Yeah.
cards specifically, to be able to pull in packs today, but they're signed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I love
I
that.
think
It used to happen.
I
We don't
like the
really
signed,
see it
yeah.
anymore.
Like if I could get a Topps basketball, let's say Topps basketball comes back and I can pull an 81 Larry Bird rookie signed. That would be sick.
Okay.
That would make me buy a pack or give me like a 10 times better reason to buy a pack of new cards than I have right now. For me personally.
So I did a quick bit of research. So in 2006, 2007 Fleer,
Okay.
you actually could have pulled Michael Jordan's rookie card autographed
Really?
in a buyback. Yes.
Wow.
So, yes, I'm on it. In celebration of 20 years since the 86-87 Fleer set Upper Deck, which had recently acquired the Fleer brand, released the 06-07 Fleer set, which was designed to reflect the elements of the 86-87 set.
Oh
And
yeah, I remember those
most
now. I remember
notably,
those now. Yep.
most notably had a chance at an 86 Fleer Michael Jordan rookie card autograph buyback.
Yes.
So
Now I remember those cards with the same design, the red and blue border with the yellow. Yep, I remember that year.
I'd like to see more of that. More like old products, old vintage cars autographed in today's sets. I like it. Let's bring it back.
All right. I'm in. I think we so what are we 4 for 4? We approved all four. Well, we know there's some logistical trouble, so we gave a few of them the Dikembe Mutombo finger wag as far as would they actually produce it for, really making it happen or the branding element of how it's going to look for the league and those players like my malicious moments. But I think overall I would probably be interested in all four of your ideas.
I truly believe these are genuine, good, innovative ideas.
Yeah.
So, yeah, remember who said them first.
And
Took longer than I
also,
expected, but sorry, what were you going to say?
no, I'm saying like I really gained a lot more respect for the people who are coming up with these card ideas at these companies because I know you had been sitting on three of your ideas for a while, but for me just coming up with four ideas like throughout the past couple days, it was not easy. It was not easy.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's with anything, it seems a lot easier until you put yourself in those shoes of that person and you're trying to do what they do on a daily basis. And now all of a sudden you realize, wow, I thought this was easy, but now I'm realizing it's much harder than I thought. So I got a good life lesson out of this too, that sitting on your couch looking through eBay, it might be easy to say, why don't they just make this a card? But, it's like, well, to make
Tough,
that
yeah.
happen, the licensing, the branding, and the steps that it takes to execute an idea and put it out to the public is, let alone coming up with the initial idea. So I gained a lot of respect for these companies and the people who are trusted to come up with these ideas for cards.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's the product designers, not an easy job. We each have a couple updates. I'm gonna
Should
go
we
real
say
quick.
should we save them? Should we save them? We're like 45 minutes, so I don't know. Maybe we could do a little teaser.
Yeah, I like
All right,
that.
all right. Because I think we did pretty well. I now that I see your idea of the episode come to fruition with the idea of our sports cards being presented, I'm glad you pushed me in this direction. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Good, I'm glad. And the one card I'm getting back from PSA, maybe I will save it because it's not in hand yet. But I do want to
Yeah,
quickly
yeah.
show you one. I want to show you one pickup.
Okay.
And this kind of inspired this episode a little bit. This is 2007 playoff absolute memorabilia. Peyton Manning, numbered 5/5.
Okay.
All game worn. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Game worn jersey, pants, helmet, and shoe.
Wow.
How cool is that?
That is very cool. And the tools of the trade. You know what's sad is that set is now I don't think it's either player worn or not affiliated with anything now, like Joe Burrow or somebody like that. But that
It's
is awesome how they put all four different elements of the guy's uniform. And I guess all you need is like the wristband and the chin strap, and then you'd be 100% covered of every thing that he wore in that game. But that's really cool. I like that. Creative.
yeah, there's so many Peyton Manning cards out there, and I'm not a collector, but when I saw this, I had to make a play. This is like the era that I grew up on. Five out of
Yeah.
five. They don't make them like they used to.
No, that's cool. I like that a lot.
That's it.
All right,
We'll
bro.
so we'll save your recent transaction for next week. We'll save my
Mhm.
PSA submission for next week. And yeah, that's it. This was good. I would
All
love
right,
to
bro.
hear in the comments other people's ideas.
Yeah, definitely comment on YouTube or any podcasts about your ideas or what you thought was our best idea. I would love to hear like what you thought my best idea was, or Craig's best idea, or
Or worse.
overall, what you would buy, or your own. That would be
Or the
great
worst
to
idea.
share.
The worst idea that we
Yeah,
had too.
or let us know our
Or-
worst idea. Which one did you hate the most? Please comment below.
All right. Be well. Go
All right,
Clemson.
bro. Yes, sir.
Peace.